with us today who will be talking about the ways that they have been able to use technology to promote positive mental health and wellness. Today, our presentation will be moderated by myself. My name is Corey Hess. I am a fourth-year doctoral candidate at Ball State University, and I'm one of the co-chairs for the SAS Prevention and Promotion Pillar, and we will talk in just a few moments a little bit more about what SAS is and how you might be able to get involved. As far as some of my professional interests, I am passionate about working with kids and adolescents, reducing the stigma that's associated with mental illness, suicide prevention, and personally I'm interested in cooking, crafting. I love to spend time in nature, hiking and kayaking with my husband and son. Now I'll turn it over to Craig and let him tell you a little bit about himself as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Craig Deacon. I'm a third-year doctoral student in counseling psychology at Ball State University as well. I'm the other co-chair of the SAS Prevention and Promotion Pillar, and have been working with Corey for the last 2 years toward our goals and efforts in prevention and promotion. I'll be leaving for internship in clinical health psychology down in Georgia next year for the coming year. And so some of my professional interests are in health psychology, mental health promotion, prevention of mental and physical health issues, help seeking, and then also I've taken a recent interest in chronic pain and kind of the psychosocial treatments for that. Personally, I enjoy running, hiking, cooking and eating, and also spending time with my pets and my friends here.
And so just to tell you a little bit more about SAS, we have the link here. So if you're interested in learning more, please feel free to visit that website. Just for those of you who might not know, SAS is a national membership organization for students who are associated with the Society of Counseling Psychology, which is Division 17 of the American Psychological Association. SAS membership is open to all graduate students and undergraduate students as well, who are in counseling psychology and any related fields. And there are tons and tons of ways that you can get involved with SAS. And so we really encourage you to just visit our website for more information. And if you have any questions, we would be more than happy to chat with you and tell you a little bit more. We want to move on though today and introduce our speakers. We have two excellent presenters, and they're going to share with us some of their experiences and also their resources that they have pertaining to the ways that they've been able to use technology to promote mental wellness. And so joining us today, we have Dr. Karisa Peer and Bezya Sinan. We'll let each of them tell you a little bit more about themselves before their presentations. But just a quick overview, Dr. Peer received her doctorate in education from UCLA. She received a master's degree in teaching from the University of San Francisco, and then she also has a bachelor's degree in sociology, anthropology, and Spanish from Middlebury College in Vermont. We are also going to be joined today by Bezya Sinan, who is a fourth-year counseling psychology doctoral student at Seton Hall University. And as I mentioned, we'll let them each tell you a little bit more about themselves before they begin their presentations. And we just have a couple quick housekeeping things before we go ahead and get started today.
Yep, so for those of you listening to our presentation today, if you do have questions for our presenters, we are going to have a Q&A time for the last 10 to 15 minutes of the presentation. So if you would like to send us your questions, please use the Q&A feature on Zoom. And what we'll do is send those to our presenters, and they'll be able to answer those questions during that Q&A time at the end. And so just so that you know, we'll acknowledge that you sent the question, but we won't respond to them until that Q&A time. So please feel free to be sending those throughout. We really appreciate your questions. And then we'll just go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Yeah, and so we would first like to extend a really warm welcome to Dr. Peer. She is going to be talking today about Mother Squad.
Thank you, Corey. I'm really excited to share about Mother Squad. Just a little bit of background. As you said, I have a PhD in education. My background was in teaching for many years, nonprofits, and once I got pregnant, it kind of shifted to maternal mental health, and you'll hear a lot more of that in my presentation. And my personal interests are trying to get a little sleep in with the 17-month-old and hiking when we can go with our dog as well. So are you guys ready for me to start or the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm the CEO of Mother Squad, and we're a video chat support group platform for expectant and new moms. I'm really excited to share about my company and the work that we do with new moms. So the overview is that slide, please. I'm going to divide the presentation into two parts. First, why I started Mother Squad, and that was for personal and systemic reasons. And then I'm going to talk about our mission, what we do, why we're different, and what people and moms say about our work. Slide. So Mother Squad came from a very personal place. Before I was pregnant, I had generalized anxiety disorder. And during my pregnancy, I was actually placed on bed rest because of medical complications. So at one point during my pregnancy, I actually had a 50% chance of my daughter surviving. So needless to say, it was a very anxiety provoking time. And soon after, I was very, very happy that my daughter was born, but it was a really rough transition into motherhood. So I developed postpartum depression. So slide, please. So as a researcher, I had a very long background in research, and I started surveying a lot of people I knew, and I started surveying moms across the country. And my experience of isolation and anxiety was not unique to me. It was actually quite common. So we surveyed many, many moms, about 400, and we discovered that 68% felt unsure of their skills as new moms. 52% felt isolated, and 48% experienced anxiety. And we see this in the research. So we know that 70 to 80% of moms experience baby blues, and new stats tell us that 1 in 5 experience postpartum depression. To make matters worse, the US doesn't have these support systems to help new moms. Financially, socially, we're really missing a lot of those scaffolds and support systems. So Mother Squad, slide please, is here to change that. So we saw that these traditional villages of support aren't there because a lot of times families are really spread across the country and friends are really busy, and there's just simply not the time for women to have those traditional villages of support. Also, time and logistics makes it really hard. So Mother Squad creates virtual face-to-face villages for new moms. We're through Zoom, which is the same platform we're using today. And it's really easy for moms to access our video chats pretty much anywhere and at really convenient times for them. So that you get a better picture of what we do, I wanted to present a video that we've created. So I'm going to share my screen now. Hi, my name is Dr. Karisa Peer, and I'm the founder. I exclusively founded Mother Squad to support women through the unique experience of motherhood. I didn't always want to be a mother. I was a tomboy growing up. We would rollerblade and bike. So I decided to tell my mother when I was 10 about my decision. And she said, no, está en nuestra sangre. It's in our blood. But at the time, and for most of my life, I was convinced that motherhood just wasn't for me. After a lot of thinking, my husband and I decided to leave, and it wasn't me. I had PCOS, so I knew it was hard to conceive. The doctor confirmed it, and we had to go due to medical complications. I had a 50-50 chance of my daughter surviving the pregnancy. So I was put on bed rest months at a time. And it was a challenge for me because I had always been a very active person. I saw ads of pregnant women doing yoga and running and just glowing in their pregnancy. Yet I was not glowing. My pregnancy should have been a mattress. I had a very supportive husband and family, but I still felt isolated and anxious given the situation. So in order to survive the anxiety and isolation,
I had to develop coping mechanisms and strategies. And someone who really helped me through that was my therapist, who I would meet with through video chat every week. Hey, Karisa, I just want to see how you're doing today. The other thing that really calmed me down was talking to other women who had been through similar experiences. These other moms would say, yeah, it sucks, and I knew someone understood. Fortunately, my daughter was born healthy, and we're so happy that she's here. This is the time when I began to think, you know, I'm not the only person that's gone through this. I'm not the only person who's had to develop support mechanisms to get through a really difficult time. My academic background is in qualitative and ethnographic research, so I made it a point to meet as many women with children as possible. What I found was that many moms were in the same spot I was. Maybe they weren't bedridden, but they were dealing with something, and the effect was the same. We were isolated and unsure during this huge change in our lives, and we lacked the support that we needed to be healthy and happy. When you look online for help, it's all parenting advice or toy advertising. While there's endless focus on motherhood, there's little focus on the actual mother. These experiences are what inspired me to create Mother Squad. I am passionate about the fact that mothers should not be made to feel invisible and worthless. As a community, we chat about sleep deprivation, physical and emotional changes, shifts in relationships, and much more. We believe that mothers are stronger together. Our groups are led by licensed facilitators who have years of experience working with mothers. My daughter is now 13 months old. I couldn't tell you how helpful the support of other moms still is. If you're a new mom who wants to join our community, please visit our website. Hi, my name is Dr. Karisa Peer, and I'm the founder.
Okay. So as you saw in the video, Mother Squad focuses on mothers' needs. From the second moms go into the hospital, their needs are overlooked. We see this in statistics of maternal deaths. So we really want to focus on the mom, and that's what makes us really unique. Also, another feature that makes us unique is that we have licensed therapists that run our groups. Most of them are moms themselves, so it adds an added layer of empathy to our groups. And the really interesting thing about having licensed therapists moderate our groups is that they ensure that they're really supportive and judgment-free spaces. A lot of groups out there like Facebook, they're unmoderated, so they're not as supportive as the groups that we have. And then lastly, as we expand, our groups are offered 7 days a week. You can access them from anywhere because it's through Zoom. So if you have a smartphone or a computer or tablet, it's really easy to access our groups. And next slide. Our team is made up of an assortment of people with different expertise. So I'm in education. I created the curriculum. We have mom-driven topics. So in the first session, moms come together and they discuss what they want to cover. And then we provide curated resources on those topics. Karina Constantine is our lead facilitator. She's a licensed therapist, and she oversees quality control of the groups, as well as training and onboarding the therapists in our model. And my husband is our CTO, and he's built our website from the ground up. Slide, please. And moms in our groups really love what we do. They feel that it's a very supportive space. The cool thing is they can do it from home, in their laundry room, in their pajamas. So it's just from work. Really busy moms can do that as well. So we're trying to meet moms where they're at. The facilitators, as I said, make the groups really unique because they add that added layer of support. And our topics are really focused on moms. So it could be anything from sleep deprivation to debating between breastfeeding and formula to physical and emotional changes in relationships with partners and much more. So if you're interested in hearing more, please contact me, and I'm very open to questions, very hands-on CEO. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Karisa. Next, up we have Bezya Sinan, and I'll let you tell her a little bit more about herself, and she will be talking with you all today about a gratitude journal app called Zest that she was involved in developing.
Hello, I'm Bezya, and I'm a fourth-year counseling psychology student at Seton Hall University. Just some things about me. I think my video is, it's on, okay. Just some things about me clinically and broadly. I'm interested in culture, in particular bicultural identity, also trauma and positive psychology, and some personal interests as well as some self-care interests that I have is painting, running, as well as hiking. And generally, I'm also interested in the ways to make mental health more accessible to the public. And as an effort towards that, I'll talk about this free app that I helped to create, which has been gaining some popularity online. So Zest is a free and simple gratitude journaling app, which allows users to record what they appreciate about each day. And as an overview, I'll be talking a little bit about what motivated me to come up with the idea of the app, as well as how to use it and some of the app's features. So to start, just some of the theory behind the app, I'll go over what is gratitude. In general, it's been defined as the recognition and appreciation of a positive outcome that is not necessarily earned. And considerable empirical work has focused on showing that gratitude is related to well-being and even may have a causal relationship to it. There has also been some evidence that even a short-term practice of gratitude can lead to long-term effects in well-being. Next slide. And the study that I read about maybe 5 or 6 years ago in a positive psychology class that I took as part of my master's program was the study by Emmons and McCullough. And what they did is they had participants, both undergraduate students at the college level and adults with neuromuscular disease. And they had a gratitude condition where they had individuals create either daily or weekly gratitude entries. They wrote about what they were thankful for each day or ways that they felt that they were better off than others. And it was found that for those who participated in the gratitude condition compared to either a control group or compared to a hassles group who kind of wrote about things that they were bothered about each day, showed heightened well-being across all measures of well-being. Next slide. So some of the ways that gratitude has been shown to work, the intervention of counting your blessings has been shown to work, is through the law of habituation, which pretty much states that through time, we tend to adapt to our circumstances. No matter how satisfied we are in our life, we tend to adapt to it. And by doing a simple gratitude exercise, like noticing the novel things in your life that give you satisfaction, you can counteract that habituation. It's also been shown to work through the broaden build theory. You know, the more positive emotions we have through noticing the little moments in life, these emotions can lead to more cycles of positive emotions down the line. And this broadens our thinking about a wide array of events in our daily life that we could be thankful for or happy for. And it can also affect our schema of the world, priming us to see the world through a more thankful and appreciative lens. Maybe next time I'm on the subway, instead of focusing on how crowded it is or how hot it is in the subway, I'll notice that someone else has given up their seat to someone else, and even I'll appreciate that in the moment, even if the seat wasn't meant for me. And also, gratitude can be used as a coping mechanism when going through difficult times. It can enhance our positive emotions and improve our memory about positive events that have occurred in our lives. So learning about some of the ways that gratitude works and some of the mechanism that it works, especially through the intervention, made me feel more confident in the utility of this intervention and led me to continue to take part in gratitude journaling and also led me to not feeling satisfied with some of the apps that were out there for gratitude journaling. I felt like there were too many frills and too many extra features that kind of took away from the task at hand. And I had, during my externships, I had some clients that I saw who, when I felt appropriate, I suggested, maybe try out this gratitude journaling that I read about a couple years ago. So anyway, next slide. So when you access the Zest app, you see this home screen. So this app runs natively on both iOS and Android devices, as well as any internet browser. And you get to this welcome screen like this that takes you through a tutorial and features that you will find using the technology. You can log in using a Facebook or Google account, or you can create an offline account. And after you log in, you will enter a home page where you can view your entries. And at the top, you will see a positive motivational quote, which changes each day. Next slide. So you can create daily entries. We call each entry a moment on what you are thankful for or happy about in your day. And when you press the plus sign at the bottom right corner of your screen, you can add that moment. And it will ask you, what are you thankful for today? And what you can do is you can tag each day as especially cheerful or bright. If you look at the sun at the bottom, you can click that to tag it. And you can make your moments public, but they are always kept anonymous. So other users might be able to view them. And you can also view your entries as either a list or by month or in a calendar format. And you are also given the option to upload an image, and you can see that in the cool calendar format to the right. So we also have user-generated content. If you go to the menu and you click on random, you are given 5 random entries from 5 different users each day, and this can also bring up your motivation. You can read about what others are thankful for, and of course, they're completely anonymous and also selected by users as whether or not they want to make it public. Next slide. You can view your statistics about the app. So you can look at the total days you have submitted moments. You can tag especially bright days, like I mentioned before, and see how many of those days you've created that are special. You can look at your streak, so how many days in a row that you've created moments, and you can see what your longest streak is. And also you can look at the average amount of days that you produce moments in a month, and also which one has been your most active month. So as requested by some of our users, we created the ability to export moments. And I find that this is especially a great option, especially if you have a lot of moments, to be able to do what you want with them outside of the app. This feature, like all of our other features, and the app itself is free. We are working on a possible future method of exporting your moments into a pretty PDF file or even maybe a physical booklet, but this will be available at maybe a small cost to users. Next slide. Another feature that we're going to release at the latest release of the app will be the ability to share posts. So you can, if you click on the top right icon, after you create a moment, you will be able to share either through a messenger or through email, even to users that don't, or people in your contacts that do not have the app. You can share your moment, and that can include a picture you upload with what you are thankful for that day. Next slide. So just some statistics on the app, especially for some viewers out there that might be interested in app development. We released in August 2017. We've had 20,000 downloads, 4.8 star rating from 500 reviews. We have about 1,200 daily active users, 1,500 1,500 moments, 150,000 moments. And we also, so we are a free app. The money that we make off of it is not exactly profitable yet, comparable to the amount of work we've done, but at least it's been a project where we feel we've been giving to others. And some of the ways, though, that we've made money and has been possible through our very generous users. We've made some donation money. We've made money off of advertisements, Facebook and Google ads. And some of the expenses for the app include a monthly server cost at $4 a month. We also pay yearly to the Apple Store, $99 subscription, as well as a $25 one-time fee to the Google Play Store. And Zest has 10,000 lines of code. It is translated into English, Italian, German, French, Portuguese so far, and you can sync it across all of your devices, mobile, app, internet, as long as you have an internet connection. But again, that's all, voluntary. You can use it offline. And next slide. So as I mentioned before, we support multiple languages, and this is mainly made available through our users. We use the website Web Translate It, and we have users volunteer to, if they are bilingual and if they want to, translate our app. And other users who might speak the same language can log in and also review the translations. And then once we feel pretty confident that we've had everything translated and this looks about right, then we will release the new version of the app with the updated languages. So we've had great ratings as well with our users. Like I said, 4.8 star rating. We've had many users express the gratitude that they feel towards us even for creating the app, and how it has helped them change their perspective on life and change how they feel, or even how they share their moments with others. And we really enjoy receiving those messages and reviews. And we were even contacted by a therapist who wanted some promotional material to have clients that visit her maybe even use the app. And we created little Zest business cards and sent it to her. And then we kind of used those cards to post around and market as well. Next slide. And just a quick review of our features. I mean, you can download the app at this link above, or you can just search for it at the Apple or Google Play Store. If you just type in Zest and maybe even gratitude after Zest, then you'll easily find the app. And so some of our features, again, is just having that beautiful and clean user interface. There's no extra frills. You can just focus on gratitude journaling. You can list what you're thankful for each day, add a picture to remember the day. Entries are grouped and tagged by month. You can get statistics about how you use it, which I find is helpful for me, especially if I want to create like a quantitative goal for the month. And you can keep up your motivation with quotes. You can get 5 random moments from strangers a day. You can log in with Google, Facebook, or offline. You can synchronize with multiple devices, and hopefully soon we'll have the ability to export your moments in a pretty PDF or physical booklet format. Next slide. And although I had the conceptual idea for Zest, credit must be given to its developer, someone who brought the vision to life, and that is Alessandro Genova. And if you are interested in creating an app, that's his contact information. And that will be it for my part of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Bezya.
You're welcome.
We would now like to open it up to all of our attendees to ask questions. If you notice, there's the little Q&A link that you can click on through Zoom. If you could submit questions through there. I know we have received a few questions already. What Craig and I will do is we will state the questions that are coming in out loud so everybody can hear, and then we will have either Dr. Peer or Bezya respond, or both, if it's a question for both of them. It looks like the first question that we have today is, I think for both Dr. Peer and Bezya. So maybe we could just have you respond in the order that we did the presentations. So the first question is, how did you branch into the technology field, and what gave you the confidence to break into what might be unknown territory in your respective fields of education and psychology?
So in my case, I had a lot of psychologists and therapists that I was friends with or colleagues at UCLA, and I reached out to them because I really wanted to solve this issue of isolation among mothers, and I saw tech was the solution in this case for moms who couldn't get out of their house or who couldn't leave work and whatnot. And also our CTO, he's built, you know, apps and he's worked at startups and enterprise companies. So it was a really nice bridge between the two.
Thank you. Bezya, is there anything that you would like to talk about as far as how you branched into the technology field?
Sure. So for me, I just had some connections in technology, some engineering connections. And so I also found a need for this app, and also as, you know, maybe a side project, maybe a method of procrastination, I helped create this idea.
Thank you. We have a request to go back to the cover slide. So I'm just going to go to the beginning of the slideshow really quick here.
Another question for both panelists. Do you currently or have plans to ask users to track any kind of mental health symptoms or outcomes to try to develop any effectiveness research or outcome research for the technology that you're using?
We have like a pre-survey where when moms enroll, they fill out the Edinburgh postnatal depression survey. So we get a sense of anxiety level, if they have suicidal tendencies, their depression, and we're currently working on an instrument for to do like a post-survey after we provide our services.
So for me, I I actually never thought about this before, but I have this general idea of maybe coming up qualitatively with what users write about and like what in general brings them gratitude. Maybe something I'll get into after I graduate or after I'm done my dissertation.
Great.
This next question is for Dr. Peer. Wondering how you recruit facilitators for your online groups.
So it's a lot of word of mouth. Instagram, it's hilarious. Like people have found us through there, social media. A lot of it is facilitators who are already on board and then they tell people. So our biggest issue is not finding therapists, but as we're a startup, it's finding moms. Yeah.
Great. So a follow-up question then might be, how have you been recruiting moms for the program?
So again, like in the mom, sector, a lot of it is word of mouth. So people we knew who knew people. Again, social media, Instagram has been huge. Pinterest, a lot of moms are on there. And through the therapists themselves, because a lot of them specialize in maternal mental health. Hospitals, we're trying to get contracts with hospitals for women on who are on bed rest, as well as moms whose kids are in the NICU. Also partnering with nonprofits, very female-heavy industries where we can be part of their perks programs.
Great. Okay. And then a question for Bezya. How long did it take you in terms of developing the app? So maybe from kind of start to finish. I know on your slides you mentioned you launched last August. So when did you first kind of come up with this idea, and how long did it take to bring to fruition?
I guess I'd been thinking about it for a while, but I didn't really start thinking more in depth about it until maybe June. And then it took about like 2-3 months to actually get it up and running, like a very basic kind of version. And then after that came like more ideas and more, like as I sat there and used it myself and kind of listened to what others, reviewers and other users were emailing us and asking for, kind of came up with more ideas for the app.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And then another question for the both of you. What advice would you have for other students or professionals who are wanting to use technology to promote mental health and mental wellness, but might be just scared of the technology piece of it? What advice would you have for those people?
I would say really draw on your networks, because there's people with abilities that you wouldn't think of who just really open the door to doing this stuff. And it's so needed because, again, like tech creates access to help that a lot of people might be too nervous to seek in person. In our case, it's really nice because women feel more comfortable because there's this kind of added sense of anonymity in reaching out to people that aren't your neighbors, where you can open up. So it's very powerful. Just, I would say, reach out to people you know, because they might know people who are in tech.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess for me, just to add to that, just to go for it, log into online apps, browse the internet, and I think it's really the way our world and mental health it's the direction that it's moving towards. And yeah, and I think even if you have some like entrepreneurial spirit and you want to create something, or even kind of to get mental health out there through technology, I would say go for it and broaden your network.
I would also say if you're in school, you can reach out to the engineering department. There's always people ready to take on these projects. A lot of people that we've used in our marketing efforts have been interns, and they've been amazing. So I would say to do that as well.
All right. Those are all really great ideas and suggestions, so thank you.
Another question, one concern that often comes up as I've spoken with people about using online resources for various mental health programs is like confidentiality and HIPAA compliance. How have you all worked with your technology developers to address those concerns?
So for HIPAA, we use Zoom, and we pay for the business version. So that's HIPAA compliant. You have to be really careful with certain, like if you're doing teletherapy, I think Skype is not HIPAA compliant. So you really have to look into those measures. We worked with healthcare lawyers, which is where we spent a bulk of our money to ensure that it's legally sound. In our case, we're marketed as support groups because you cannot provide therapy across state lines. So it's really important to just make sure that you have all your bases covered legally in those cases.
Thank you.
For us, we have a privacy statement. So for users that first sign into the app, they see that. And maybe if they log into the random moments and they want to see what other users are posting, they're given a warning. And that, you know, we don't really always keep track of that. But then again, if they see something that is they want to report, they can do that, and we will review it and maybe even take it down if we need to. That's kind of what we do.
Thank you.
Thanks. If there are any other final questions from our attendees, please feel free to send those in. We'll wait another minute. Also, if anyone out there has questions just in general about SAS, we'd be more than happy to answer those. As I mentioned, you can definitely check out the SAS website. This webinar will be available to watch probably within a few days or so, pretty quickly. So if you wanted to go back and review any of what we've talked about today or review this slideshow, all of that will be available online on the website.
We'll make the links and apps that were described by both Dr. Peer and by Bezya available along with the webinar as well, so that you have easy access to those. And we encourage people to check them out and see how they might be useful for you or useful to the people that you work with in your various fields as well. One last question that I have for the two of you is, as you've been going through this process, how have you, we're very interested in self-care and what that means as well. So how have you made sure to take care of yourselves as you're taking on something extra outside of your clinical work or the experiences that you have, Bezya, as a graduate student? Oh, Karisa, I don't think we can hear you right now. You're unmuted, but.
How about now?
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say that Corey knows, because she's a mom, it adds an extra layer of being very busy on top of having a startup. But I think that it's just making it a priority, just self-care, even if it's, interestingly, I do gratitude in the mornings. For 5 minutes, I just think of, things that I'm grateful for. Definitely going to check out your app. And also, I think just kind of following my mission in utilizing that village. So prior to having a kid, I didn't really reach out for support. I was very self-reliant. And it's about really using the people in your life and utilizing their support. So my parents help a lot with my daughter. I have a childcare person who helps as well. So really focusing on when I work. And then when I'm not working, really being present during that time.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
And for me, although the app Zest has helped me kind of take part in self-care in a convenient way on my phone anywhere, I think as a psychology graduate student, I've done like ways to engage in self-care related to psychology, but I find that I need to do things really outside of psychology. So besides kind of what I mentioned, like running or hiking or just being in nature, biking, just spending time with friends who are not in the fields allows me to kind of take care of myself.
Yeah, that's so important.
And it's hard as a grad student to find that time, but I find that to making it a priority is very important.
Yeah. Well, we just want to really thank the both of you for presenting today. We really, really appreciate it. Again, as I mentioned, if anyone would like to reference this webinar for future, it will be available on the Division 17 website. Also, please feel free to contact Craig or myself with any follow-up questions, and we will be sure to pass those along to our presenters, make sure we get all of your questions answered. So we'd like to just thank everybody so much for attending today, and that will conclude our webinar for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.